Good morning, everyone. I want to welcome you to our webinar today. Of course, I'm sure you all know we're here to hear from Alex Larson. He is a channel manager at Jet Reports, and he's going to talk to us about building impactful departmental dashboards with Jet Enterprise. I also just want to remind everybody that we do have your little box there available for typing in any questions you have. I'll be monitoring that throughout the presentation and, of course, at the end during kind of the set-aside question and answer time. So if you have any questions, type them in there. I'll call them out to Alex and get them answered. So without further ado, Alex, I'll turn it right over to you.
Thanks, Abby. Can you please make me a presenter? I'm not able to share.
Golly, sorry about that, Alex. Sorry, everybody. Just one second, and we'll get Alex actually presenting here.
All right, there we go. Again, so my name is Alex Larson. I am the East Region Channel Manager here at Jet Reports. I'm very excited to be here today and talk to you a little bit about building dashboards with our Jet Enterprise product, as well as showing you some of our new product, Jet Mobile. For those of you who aren't that familiar with Jet Reports is the leading reporting and business intelligence solutions provider for Dynamics Nav. We have over 100,000 users worldwide with offices in over 50 countries. We are a Microsoft strategic partner in that some of our software is developed in collaboration with Microsoft. And a couple of things that really set us apart are our renowned customer service across 24 time zones and 24-hour technical support and access to our community and support site resources. Again, just for a brief overview of our product set, we offer 3 solutions to match any organization's reporting and business intelligence needs. Jet Express, which is offered with NAV 2009 and later out of the box for free for really fast, easy financials and ad hoc queries. Jet Essentials for full operational, financial, and managerial reporting. And then Jet Enterprise, which we're going to be talking about today, and which is aimed more toward business intelligence, analytics, and trending. So jumping right into it, and Jet Enterprise, if you ask 4 or 5 different people what business intelligence is, you're typically going to get 4 or 5 different answers. So for the purpose of this discussion, when we talk about BI and Jet Enterprise, what we're talking about is reporting from a data warehouse and cube environment. And to really explain what that is, I like to use this graphic here on the right-hand side of my screen. Starting over here on the left-hand side, this is our NAV database, or our raw data. And NAV has roughly 1,000 tables and over 10,000 fields. And what we found is that most end users really only use about 15 tables and 100 fields for reporting purposes. So this is why a data warehouse becomes important. A data warehouse is meant to store only the information that is relevant for reporting. So that is taking the very large data set that is your NAV database and trimming it down to something much more manageable. The data warehouse then goes a step further and organizes the data by subject matter. So notice in our middle graphic here, the icons in the graphic are now lined up in rows. So what this means is that all the data that is related to sales, for example, is put into the sales section of the data warehouse, regardless of which table it lives in on the NAV database. So sales data could live in 6 tables in NAV. Within the data warehouse, now it's all in one place. Going a step further and optimizing the data, the cube makes the data even more relevant for analysis. So this is where dimensionality and key performance indicators come into play. So notice on the graphic that not only are the icons lined up, but they're now also organized by color. The cube has now taken every possible combination of dimension and value and laid it out into one flat file format. So what this means is that if you wanted to see sales by item, by region, by year, that analysis is already done for you and sitting there waiting to be viewed with a couple clicks of your mouse, which I'll show you how that all works in just a minute here. The cube then goes a step further and pre-calculates any formula-based values. So this is where your organization can add in its custom KPIs. And the added benefit of this is that your organization is now working the exact same formula. So think of this entire structure as going from a lot of data to only a little, from everything to relevant only, from complex to simple, and from slow to fast. Now, the three main advantages of a business intelligence solution are going to be, first, consolidation and performance. So having a dedicated reporting database with data warehouse and cubes. Second is speed. Because it's built for reporting, all of your analysis is going to be almost instantaneous. Whereas with a traditional reporting tool where you're having to query the live nav database, that can take a fairly significant amount of time to run a report depending on the amount of information that you're trying to bring in. However, when you're reporting from a cube, that analysis is going to be very fast and almost instantaneous because it's pre-organized for you. And then third is ease of use. So since the data is already organized, the typical end user or the person building the reports and dashboards doesn't need to know how the data relates together in the database or what tables and what fields they need to go to find the data that they need, because that's already organized as well on the back end. So with Jet Enterprise, a couple of things that we deliver out of the box with the solution is a pre-built data warehouse for nav and 7 pre-built cubes that typically cover about 70 to 75% of what an organization needs. And the reason I say 70 to 75% and not 100 is because every nav database is different. It has its own customization. Maybe it's built for a certain vertical. So those customizations do need to be brought over into the data warehouse and cube environment. Secondly, and this is where I believe the real value in our solution is, it's in our backend tool, the Jet Data Manager. And this is a tool that's used to customize the cubes to fit your organization. And the great thing about this is it's extremely user-friendly, so you don't need to be a BI or a SQL expert by any means to use the tool. With a couple days of training, you'll be able to do all the customizations in-house. And then finally, as is with our entire solution, the front end is in Excel. So it's something that people are familiar with, something that people know how to use. And with the added features and functionality that we provide, we really leverage the power of Excel to build some very nice looking dashboards. In addition to that, what I'll be showing at the end of the demo is another way to get your information using our Jet Mobile product and our Jet Mobile dashboard builder. So without further ado, let's take a look at some finished dashboards here, just to give you an idea of what some of the possibilities are. So here we have a sales dashboard that was created in Jet Enterprise. I'm going to go ahead and make it a little bit smaller just to fit it all on the screen. So in the center here, we have some of our different KPIs. We have our sales amount, profit, and profit percentage year over year. We have our sales amount and profit by item category, our sales amount by salesperson, and then our sales amount by global dimension 1 for department. Around it, we have some different slicers. If you're not familiar with slicers, basically all they are visual filters. So we have those for both of our global dimensions, country, year, company, salesperson, item category, and product group. So let's say that I only wanted to see data for my North American company here, and for the years 2011, 2012, and 2013. As I select those slicers, you can see that all the data within my charts and graphs is updating almost instantaneously. Now, this is looking at a very large amount of data over multiple years, whereas, again, if you were to create a similar report in a traditional reporting tool, it could take a fairly significant amount of time to run. However, since we're reporting from that data warehouse and cube environment, our analysis is almost instantaneous. In addition to that, if we want to see some details, behind any of our charts and graphs, I can click on this Details tab, and it's going to take me to a pivot table with some data. So here we have our sales amount, profit, and profit percentage spread out over the years and then the quarters within the year. I can break this down even further to see individual months and even go down to a transactional level if I want to see that much detail. Let's go ahead and take a look at one other dashboard here. So here we have a financial dashboard that was created in Enterprise. So in the center here, again, we have some of our different KPIs in the charts and graphs. So we've got our actuals versus budget year over year. We have year-to-date actuals versus budget. We have our variance to budget, and then we have our actuals versus prior year. In addition to that, we have some slicers, so we're able to filter on any of our GL accounts within our database, the different levels, so cost, revenue, expenses, etc. We have our different companies, year, both of our global dimensions in my sample database here, and then any budgets that we have in our NAV database as well. So let's go ahead and actually see what it takes to create one of these dashboards within Excel. So I'm going to go ahead and open up a new blank workbook here. So up here on the top, as you can see, we are in Excel, and we've got our Jet ribbon here at the end. What we're going to utilize with Jet Enterprise is our pivot table cubes icon here to build our dashboards. Now we do have all of our wizards here to build more cell-by-cell type reports, as well as reports from the live NAV database or directly from the data warehouse, which will also help increase performance. But for building dashboards, what we're primarily going to use is our pivot table cubes function here. So if I go ahead and click that, this is where I'm going to select which cube I'd like to access. So these are the 7 pre-built cubes that we deliver out of the box. So finance, inventory, manufacturing, payables, purchase, receivables, and sales. I'm going to go ahead and access our sales cube here for this example. And it's just going to open up a pivot table for me. Now over here on the right-hand side, this is where it's going to give me access to all the measures and dimensions that are housed within this cube. So the first thing that we're going to select is the measures. The measures are just the numerical values we'd like to see. If I wanted to see my sales amount, profit, and profit percentage, I'm just going to click those here. And they're going to appear in my pivot table over here. And these are currently the numbers for all time within my database. We'll change that in just a second, though. The next thing that we're going to select is the different dimensions we'd like to see. Now, the dimensions within the cube aren't to be confused with dimensions in NAV. They're completely different. Simply what I mean by dimensions within the cube are the things that we want to be able to slice and dice this information on. So, for example, if I wanted to see my sales amount, profit, and profit percentage by customer, I can go down here to my customer dimension, select that, and now we have all of our customers listed in their sales amount, profit, and profit percentage. Now, if we wanted to see this data year over year, I could scroll down here to our posting date dimension, select that, and now we have it year over year. In addition to that, I can expand any of these years using the plus sign next to them, so I can see the data by quarter, by month, or even by day. Just going to roll that back up. So now let's go ahead and simplify this back up, and then we'll take a look at it by a couple of other dimensions. So I'm going to go ahead and take out my profit percentage, take out my customers, and then take out my posting date. So now we're just back to our sales amount and profit. So the next thing I want to do is I want to be able to look at my sales amount and profit by item category. So I'm going to go up here to our item category dimension, select that. Then let's also say I want to take a look at it by salesperson. Go to our sales per dimension, select that. So now we have it grouped first by item category, then by salesperson. If we want this grouped the other way around, let's say salesperson by item category, I can just flip that in my row label. Again, we have our plus signs here next to each item category, so I can expand these to each individual item as well. And the next thing that we're going to do to start building this into a true dashboard is we're going to add a chart or a graph and then add some slicers to be able to slice and dice on the data a little bit more easily. So I'm going to go ahead and insert a column chart. And I'm just going to pull it down here and make it a little bit bigger. Bigger this way. All right, and then we're going to insert some slicers. So I'm going to go insert slicer filter. You can use this slicer filter function on any pivot table as well. So it's a great thing to use just in Excel in general. So I'm going to open that up. But when I open up the slicer filter and it's connected to our data warehouse in cubes, this is going to allow me to access any of the dimensions that are within my sales cube here. So if I want to be able to filter this on department, I can add a slicer for global dimension 1. If I want to be able to filter this on item category, select item category. If I want to be able to filter this on year, select year. And then let's add one for salesperson as well. Once I've selected my slicers, I'm just going to click OK. Line these up at the top. So now if I just want to see data for, let's say, the year 2011, for our awards and recognition, bags and totes, and caps and hats item categories, and only for Annette Hill and Bart Duncan, I can select those, and it's going to update my chart here at the bottom as well as my pivot table. Now, to get to the full dashboard feel like we have here, all that we're doing is we're adding some additional pivot tables, some charts and graphs, and then finally some slicers to be able to slice and dice on data. As I showed you earlier, by clicking on the detail tabs that I have in my dashboard here, I can actually see the pivot tables behind each of the charts within my dashboard. I'm just going to click return and go back to the main dashboard here. Again, as I mentioned earlier as well, if you want to see more detail on any of these, you can do that by double-clicking. So let's go ahead and expand this to the individual items. So here we have our basketball graphic plaque here with a sales amount of $84,319. If I want to see the transactions that make up that data for the year 2011, then I can double-click on that, and it's going to show me each of the individual transactions as well. And on this drill-down capability, you can control how much or how little each user sees by setting up those permissions using our back-end tool, the Jet Data Manager, either by individual user or by role. Jump back here. So the next thing that we're going to take a look at is our Jet Mobile product and the Jet Mobile Dashboard Builder. The first thing that I want to show you, though, is kind of the end product of the Dashboard Builder, and that is the mobile application. So I'm going to go ahead and connect my iPad here real quickly using our Reflector app. Bear with me for 1 second while this connects. All right, there we go. So now you guys can see my iPad here. I'm just going to go ahead and open the iPad. And as you'll see in the lower left quadrant, the Jet Mobile application, I'm going to go ahead and open that up. I'm going to go back to my dashboards. So when you open up the Jet Mobile application, this is the first screen you're going to see. Here we have all of the dashboards that have been prescribed to me. So you can control which users have access to which dashboards. So here we have some manufacturing dashboards, some financial, revenue and cash balance, inventory, sales, item profitability, a little bit of everything here in my dashboards. For this example, we'll just go ahead and use our sales dashboard, since that's the one that I'm going to be building here in the Dashboard Builder. We'll go ahead and open that up. Give it a second here to load. There we go. So here we have our sales dashboard. One of the first thing that I'm going to do here is I can change the theme on this. I don't like the color layout, so up in the upper left quadrant, you'll see our color wheel. I'm just going to go ahead and select that and change my theme here. The next thing in the center, you're going to see our range slicer. So here I can slice on different ranges of time. So if I only want to see data for the year 2012, I can pull that over, and it'll update all of my charts and graphs to just the data for 2012. In addition to that, at the top we have some different slicers, so we're able to slice this data on company, department, or salesperson. So if I just want to see the data for my North American company, select that here, and it will filter on that as well. The last thing that we can do is we're able to click on any of these charts and graphs and then click on the magnifying glass in the upper right of our sales by salesperson. And it's going to expand this. I can click on any of the different quadrants of this pie chart or areas of the pie chart and see the individual salespeople and their sales amount. And then I can scroll through to see each of my different charts and graphs. So here we have our item category, sales by item category. Again, I can click on any of the areas of this and see the individual sales amounts and their percentages. Here is our top 10 items by profit. So again, I can click on any of those. And then this should be our range slicer, so our sales over time. And again, I can pull this and filter on certain years. You can also set this up to filter by quarters or by months as well. And then up in the upper right-hand corner, you'll see our filter button. So I can add any of those filters that I had set up in the main dashboard as well and filter on them from here. We'll go ahead and take a look at one more real quickly. Let's take a look at this revenue and cash balance, just more of a financial example. So on our revenue and cash balance here, we have our revenue by quarter, our revenue by business group, and then our cash balance by quarter over time. And then we're also able to filter on our two companies, our North American company and our UK company. Again, if I want to expand any of these, I'm just going to click on the magnifying glass. And here we can see our cash balance over time. We can see our revenue by business group and our revenue by quarter. So now let's take a look at what it actually takes to build one of these. So I'm going to jump back over to my computer here. And we are just going to pull up our dashboard builder. Bear with me. I'm going to log back into our remote desktop here real quickly. All right. So now we are in the dashboard builder application. This is a standalone application that is installed on the user's computer and connected to the data warehouse in Cubes. So here we have all of our dashboards. I'm just going to go ahead and create a new dashboard here. I'm just going to enter a name for it. We're going to create a sales dashboard. I can add a description. Then I'm going to select my data source. So I'm going to select my nav cubes. And then it's going to give me the option to select which cube I'd like to pull the information from. So again, these are the 7 pre-built cubes that we deliver out of the box. Then I'm just going to go ahead and click OK. Now, the white area here, this is going to be our dashboard area, or the area that's going to show up on our mobile device. So whatever I put in this area is exactly how it's going to show up on the mobile device. Over here on the left-hand side, this is our action area. So at the top we have our visuals. Right here we'll have some of the different options we have once we've added in those visuals, which I'll show you in a second. And then down here at the bottom, just as we did within Excel, this is where we're going to access all of our different measures and dimensions that we'd like to see in our charts and graphs. So let's get started building this dashboard. The first thing that I want to see is our sales by salesperson. And to do that, I'm going to use a pie chart here. So I'm going to select this pie chart and just drag and drop it into my dashboard area. And then we're going to select the measure and dimension we'd like to see. So we want to see sales amount, drag and drop by salesperson. Drag and drop. And it's going to build that pie chart for me. The next thing that I want to see is our top 10 items by profitability. So I'm going to use a column chart for that. I'm just going to pull that into my dashboard area. And then we're going to pull in our items. So I'm going to open up my item dimension and grab all the individual items. And then we're going to pull in our profit measure. Now, as you can see, I have a lot of different items in this database. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to want to filter that on my top 10. So in order to do that, I'm going to go to our options area here. And I'm going to go down to my values and select my profit value. And then I'm going to select our top 10 option here. I can select my top 10, top 5, bottom 5. You can really set this up however you'd like. I'm going to just take out the other categories so it doesn't skew my data. And click OK. And then one other thing that you're able to do is change the titles of any of these. So that's something I forgot to do on the first one. So if I want this to say sales by salesperson, I'm just going to type it in our title area over here. And then we'll change this one as well. So top 10 items by profit. All right, now let's make one more, and let's do one for top 10, or I'm sorry, item categories by sales amount. So I'm going to use a donut chart for that. Line that up right there. And then we're going to pull in our sales amount and then our item categories. Now I have that there. Now the next thing that we're going to add is one of those range slicers, so we're able to select different periods of time. So for that, I think I'm going to do sales and profit over time. So I'm going to pull in my range slicer here, pull in the visual first, and I'm just going to line that up along the center. Okay. And then we're going to pull in our sales amount and profit. So I'm going to grab my profit first. And our sales amount. And then we're going to pull in our posting date dimension. And I'm just going to use year, month, quarter, day. And it's going to build that for me. As you can see, I can pull these over, and it'll update all the data in my charts for whatever year I have selected. Now we're going to add a few filters here. So I'm going to pull in 3 filter boxes. We'll line those up in just a second. Like a piece of artwork building one of these as well. Just lining everything up and making it look nice. Line this last one up. All right, now let's pull in some of our filters. So let's pull in a filter for company. Put that right there. Let's pull one in for department. And then the last one that we're going to do is salesperson. And I'm going to go back and finish naming some of these charts. So this one is sales by item category. This is sales and profit over time. And then we don't need to rename those slicers. So the last thing that I'm going to do here is just add a title. So I'm going to use our text visual here and just put it up here. And we're going to call this sales dashboard. Let's make it bigger. All right. And then again, we can change the theme or any of the colors of these visuals. So if I want it to look differently, I can click on the themes here. Change the themes. I can filter on and actually use any of these dashboards from the dashboard builder as well. So if I just want to see our North American company and for our corporate and events departments, I can select those and it's going to update everything for me. And then using this wheel right here at the top, I can select that. And this is how I'm going to decide who I'd like these dashboards to be prescribed to. So depending on your security permission, you can choose exactly who you'd like to see each of your dashboards. And once this is built within the dashboard builder, all that you're going to do is you're going to select Save As, save the dashboard, and then it will push it out to the mobile devices. So this pretty much covers everything that I wanted to show you today. At this point, I'd like to open it up for questions. Does anybody have any questions?
So far, Alex, we don't have any, but of course, everybody can feel free to type those questions in. I'll shout them out.
And while we are waiting for questions, I'd just like to let everybody know about a couple of promotions that we have going on right now. For any new Jet Essentials purchase, we're offering a free designer. For any Jet Enterprise purchase, we are offering Enterprise purchase or upgrade, we are offering a free designer as well as $500 off. And then any purchase with Jet Enterprise and Jet Mobile, it's a free designer and $1,000 off. And that's through December 19th.
Well, Alex, we've got one question. On a graph, how do you widen columns so the entire item name is visible?
And is this in Excel or in the dashboard builder?
Waiting on that. Let's see. In the dashboard builder.
Okay, let me jump back over there real quickly. So from this view, you're not going to be able to, but as you can see, as I scroll over any of my top 10 items here, you can see the item within or the full name of the item. And on the mobile application on your iPad, you're able to magnify, as I showed, any of these charts and graphs and do the same thing, where if you click on a certain area of any of your charts and graphs, you're going to be able to see the full item name. Any other questions?
Well, nothing so far, Alex. Maybe you've just given such a perfect presentation that nothing needs further explanation. That's always nice to think,
Hopefully.
right?
Yeah.
Okay, well, I'm going to say that's probably last call for questions. If anybody has any last questions, go ahead and type them in there now. All right, well, it looks like we're good on questions, Alex. Ooh, here's one. How do you manage the data cubes?
So the data cubes are managed using our backend tool, the Jet Data Manager, and basically what it is so we deliver the out-of-the-box project, and then we have a 3-day course that will actually teach somebody from your staff on how you can manage those cubes in-house. In addition to that, we also do have a full services department and business intelligence department. So if you guys don't want to manage them in-house or would like us to help out with anything, we are more than happy to do so. And so it gives you a lot of flexibility there as far as how you manage the cubes.
Can you pull from multiple databases?
Yeah, that's one of the great things about Jet Enterprise is the majority of our clients who own Enterprise aren't just connecting to NAV. They're bringing in multiple different data sources, whether it's a CRM database or a third-party kind of one-off SQL database or a legacy database with your historical information. That's one of the major benefits is being able to consolidate all of those data sources in a data warehousing cubes so you can report off of them simultaneously and very, very easily.
Okay, great. Do we have any further questions? Stephen says, thank you. Very impressive.
Thank you for joining us. If you have any other questions, let me know, Stephen.
All right, Alex. Well, that looks like the end of our questions. So I don't know if you have any further thoughts you want to add or if you want to wrap us up early.
Let's wrap it up early.
All right, let's do it. I just want to remind everybody that we have recorded our webinar today. It'll be processing this afternoon and should be up as a link on our website this afternoon. That's abc-computers.com. And of course, thank you, Alex, for filling us in on all these great features of Jet Reports.
Absolutely. Thank you, Abby.
All right, everyone, have a great rest of your day.